Wonderful to see everybody. Start of a new football season. Seems like we just finished the season, and we're starting another one. Honored to be here. As Dave mentioned, really the off season has been one of work for our entire football program. Our players have had a tremendous off season, and look forward to starting practice on the 2nd. Happy to take any questions.
We'll start down here in the front to our right.
John Borton on 3 in the Wolverine. Coach, J.J. McCarthy's been in the fire for 2 straight years now. What would be the next logical steps for him this season as a quarterback?
Well, talking about J.J. McCarthy, the first year he played as a true freshman in games sparingly. He became a full-time starter in 2022. And I have searched my memory for somebody who's been a first-time starter and had a better first year as a first-time starter, and I can't come up with the one. He's a once-in-a-generational type of quarterback at Michigan, and his progress continues to grow. Daily he's at the top of his game right now, really in all aspects. Everything that he does athletically, everything that he does throwing the football are at the elite level. And then the thing I think that makes him the most special, that differentiating, good and great, is that he's just willing to do anything for his teammates, anything for his team. And I think there's some compared to Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen would be 2, and I know there's others, but that have that level of talent plus the quarterback position to do anything, willing to do anything for their team. That, and I base that off of watching the way Patrick Mahomes interacts with his teammates, what he says about his teammates, what they say about him. Josh Allen, what he says about his teammates, what they say about him. So just looking through the keyhole that way. But that's what I see in J.J. McCarthy every single day.
Coach, we're going to go to our left.
Hi, Jim. Dan Hope from 11 Warriors. Ryan Day said yesterday that he thinks there should be a conversation about playing the Ohio State-Michigan game earlier in the year. What's your opinion on that?
We'll play that when we'll play that whenever it's scheduled to be played. We know we're going to play it every season, at least once, and but I don't have a particular opinion of when it should be played. Right now, it's been played that last game of the season. I think everybody's used to that. That's part of the Thanksgiving tradition now. So that's when we'll expect it.
Do we have more questions, please? We're going to stay to our left.
Tom Crawford, Press Pass, Wolverine Live on 3. Jim, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago here at this event, you were the first coach that I knew that proposed a one-time transfer, and now in the category perhaps a watch what you wish for, looking where it is right now, how would you evaluate the transfer portal, how the NIL is working into that, and is the 60 days too much availability, the 45 days right after the season, then you have that April 13th to April 30th, is that too much to deal with as a program of players going in and out?
So the reason the very 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when I talked about that, the main reason was, the only sports that you could not transfer without penalty were football, men's basketball, women's basketball, and I believe hockey was the 4th. I remember that there was 4, and every other sport could choose what was best for them and best for their families. So now we have that in football. A young man can choose what's best for him and for his family. However many years we're in on that now, I would say so far so good, and no need to change. Surely need more data, right? I mean, of all the players I talked to, so the ones that were on our team that went into the portal, good thing. Those that came from the portal to our team, they categorize it as a good thing, and at least it was their decision. Their decision and their family's decision. Talking to even when I talk to our own players who haven't gone in the portal, ask them, what do you think of the portal? And they say, does more good than it is negative. And I think that's a tremendous way to categorize it, at least from my view, from the players' view that I've talked to, and certainly too soon to change it.
Further questions, please. Adam.
Hey, Jim, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN on your other side.
Sorry, to your left.
I just want to know where do things stand just with the NCAA investigation and your own situation, if there's any discipline that's been agreed upon, or where things are right now?
Right. So as you probably already know, I mean, I can't, not allowed to talk about any aspect of that ongoing situation. And I'm with you. I mean, I'd love to lay it all out there. Nothing to be ashamed of. And but now is not that time. And that's about all there is to say about that.
We're going to go to our right in the back.
Tyler Tashman with the Des Moines Register. This is more of a contextual question to the last two seasons, but you talked about what JJ had been through. How much of a benefit was it for him to learn from a guy like Cade McNamara? In what ways did you see Cade push JJ and help him get to where he is now?
So many great ways. I mean, remember being here last year at this time. I mean, going into this training camp with two players that were starter caliber, and I loved the way they competed. It was never combative. JJ saw everything in the way Cade would compete and grind. And he wasn't there. My most memorable moment with Cade was the 2020 game where at Rutgers and down 17 points, and he went into the game, and it was just like the spark, the throwing the ball with no conscience and just playing free, and from that moment on, that was the kind of player that he was. I remember he got a big hit right before halftime too, and then just gravel in his gut went out there. I mean, love Cade. And certainly JJ was in the same quarterback room and saw all those same attributes, and so it was tremendous. Now there's going to be some situations like that this year. I mean, as I go into training camp this year, and not at the quarterback position. JJ is he's our quarterback, but there's other positions where it's going to be very similar. To having, two starting players and then watching it unfold. Who's going to start? We're going to play the best players. How do we know who the best players are? They play the best. I see that at corner, one of the starting corner position. Amarion Walker, Josh Wallace, Jaden McBurrows, some other very fine players, newcomers. But I think it'll come down to a situation where Mikey be a starter, Will Johnson will be a starter, and then that who is that other starter, whether it's at nickel or corner. And it may take training camp, may take into the first couple games. Probably the same thing at edge rusher. The edge position, I see 4 really good edge players there. At least and probably going to witness the same situation there that may go into the game one, game two, very similar to what we saw last year at the quarterback position. And there's some other tight battles. Offensive line, I look at 10 guys right now that are starter caliber. Our running back situation is two great players, Dono and Blake and Dono. It doesn't get any better. And could go through the tight end position, Colston Loveland. I know I'm on camera here, so the longer it takes him to realize how good he is, the better off he'll probably be. But I think the secret's out. He is really, really good. AJ Barner has been a great addition to our team. We'll have two really great players there, Matt Hibner and Max Bredesen. Four outstanding guys. Marlon Klein's coming. Pretty much I could go through our roster right now and paint a similar picture. We do this thing called KPIs, key performance indicators. It's about 47, 48 categories: strength and power, speed and agility, flexibility, mobility, and every guy's always trying to, up their grade. By far, I look at this off season and the work that's been put in, and just seeing those key performance indicators just rise weekly and monthly. Excited, very excited to turn that loose and start training camp. I think our team's as healthy as you could ask for, very talented, and extremely hard work ethic. And not one of them wants to hear about what they did last year or the last 2 years. It's always, coach, we're doing it again. We're doing it now, and now's the time that matters. So that's the kind of attitude and effort and talent we're taking into this start of this training camp.
We have two more questions. We'll start on the right.
Over here, Coach Bill Bender, Sporting News. Running back salaries have been talked about a lot in the NFL over the last couple of weeks. So with Blake's decision to come back, how much is that part of the conversation when you're talking to running backs and how they, get paid at the next level?
It hasn't been part of the conversation. Blake said he's coming back. It was pull it in, pull it down. That was made my day, made my week, made my off season. What he shared with me was that he wanted the full off season. He wanted to be able to get not even back to where he was, but better, stronger, faster, quicker than where he was. He wanted that season, and then when it was time for him to go into the NFL, he wanted to be able to go in fully prepared with a full workout leading up to those combines and to that draft. And when that time comes, nobody's going to get a better guy. They're not going to get a better, more talented player. They're definitely not going to get a player that works harder or cares more or is more of an infectious, positive to his teammates in terms of being a leader. Heck, the three guys that are here, Chris Jenkins, Mikey Samerstill, Blake Corum. Each one of those three are walking, talking billboards for how you should attack each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, and it's infectious on our team. So I think Blake's in a great place. Everything he thought of, everything he visualized in terms of where he would be right now, he's well trained, he was well thought out, and he's in a great place.
Our final question down here in front in the left.
Hey Jim, Andy Witchery with On3. Perhaps building off that last question, there was a one more year fund designed to retain 4 players, including Blake. What was that like to have that campaign designed to retain some key players from last year's championship team in the Big Ten?
I'd have to say, collective, we support our collective. Former player Jared Wangler, everybody that cares about Michigan. Can't wait. Have a great golf tournament coming up on July 31st, and looking forward to building on that.